So Kyle Kulinski is a left-leaning YouTuber who I really enjoy watching. He's further left than I am on a lot of political issues, but I really enjoy some of his takes on the double standards that exist in our society and in our political discourse. He calls them out in a really hilarious way, both on X and on his YouTube channel. So this is an example of it on X. There's a post from the Daily Mail online. Comedian Jim Gaffigan admits he majorly regrets alienating Trump's MAGA faithful. And so Kyle Kulinski quote tweets that and says, comedians after mocking the left say, yeah, biatch, take that, ha ha ha, yes. Comedians after mocking the right say, I've been a bad boy, I'm sorry, please love me, and then a bunch of little emojis there. And it's like, man, how true is that? And how much more true is that going to become in the next 4 years? When we've already seen, before the start of Trump's term, left-leaning commentators, left-leaning comedians like this, pre-capitulating to Trump and his MAGA army. It's already happening. And it's a total far cry from what we saw in 2016, where in November and December, there were those anti-Trump protests. There was a women's march in January 2017. And the late night comedians were going absolutely bonkers, just excoriating Trump on a nightly basis. So to Kulinski's point, I mean, yeah, so think about a lot of these right-leaning comedians. Have they ever apologized? I mean, there might be a few examples from comedians who aren't explicitly right-wing, who made a joke that was just a little too edgy. But like, has Steven Crowder ever apologized? He made a big satire video one time mocking the idea of him apologizing by basically repeating everything that he's said before. He's told jokes about people of color. He's told jokes about gay people. Has Tony Hinchcliffe apologized? Have right-leaning comedians actually been like, hey, well, I took it too far. You know, I'm really sorry to the left. I didn't mean to call LGBT people pedophiles or call minorities, you know, disparaging names and promote racial stereotypes. I'm really sorry about that. I really regret that. When have you seen right-leaning comedians express remorse? It's pretty hard to find. Now, left-leaning comedians, on the other hand, even when they don't apologize for their jokes, the jokes that they make to begin with are pretty tepid. They're pretty milquetoast. Some of them aren't that good, actually. Like, I'm left-leaning, but I would still admit that a lot of left-leaning comedians aren't that funny. But like the jokes that like people like John Oliver, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel make, like they're pretty milquetoast. They're not out there like really excoriating Trump. They're just pretty lightly poking fun at him. So yeah, Jim Gaffigan is admittedly not someone that I've watched a lot. I'm not overly familiar with him, but this is another one of those things where it's like, okay, you're a comedian. You kind of do have free reign to say almost anything in our society. Like, you can make really, really insensitive jokes and then just raise the shield of, I'm a comedian, you know, and get away with it. But this guy is going out on his own and saying, oh, I regret that. That was really mean of me. You know, you kind of have to wonder if he's doing it because he's afraid that he might get sued or something, or Trump might generally use the force of law in ways other than a civil suit against him. Like, is he going to possibly be prosecuted? I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but is he totally insane for fearing that? I don't know. And maybe him saying he regrets it in this article is just his way of being like, okay, I was a bad boy. Please just forgive me. Don't sick your jackbooted thugs on me and take me off to prison for making mean jokes about you and your supporters. But if I had to guess, even though I haven't seen this guy, I would guess that his jokes about Trump supporters are nowhere near as bad as the jokes that right-leaning comedians tell about left-wing people, about generally groups that lean left, about Democrats. So I don't know. Am I going to watch this guy? Probably not. But yeah, it's a really good point by Kulinski. There's a double standard. There's a lot of these people on the left that just seem to, at this point, have Stockholm syndrome. Think about Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. Are we kind of entering another one of those eras like in the early 1990s, where you had 12 years of Republican presidents, and the Democrats basically just said, the Republicans were right about a lot of stuff, so we're just going to implement their policies half the time. And that's kind of what Bill Clinton did. He was progressive in some ways, but economically conservative in others, with the exception of, for example, his attempted universal health care plan. But yeah, there was major capitulation to the right back in 1992. Is this going to happen now, starting in 2024, 2028? Is the next Democratic nominee going to be like, you know what? I think Donald Trump was a really great president, but I want to build on his amazing successes and make America even greater. And by the way, you better not say anything bad about Trump supporters, but I will say bad things about leftists who don't like me because they're bad and they want socialism and they're communists and they're Marxists and they're critical race theory supporters. I don't like them. Like, what are we going to get next? So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about this. Do you know any right-leaning comedians who have actually apologized for disparaging leftists? Do you know any left-leaning comedians who have also gone out and just humiliated themselves apologizing? We know that there are a lot of people on the left who have actually shifted to the right, and I don't know what Jim Gaffigan's about to do, but there are like people like Dave Rubin, for example, Jimmy Dore, who are leftists who go out and are like, well, MAGA's actually right about a lot of stuff. And Dave Rubin's now a straight-up conservative. Jimmy Dore considers himself no longer to be a progressive, but advocates for left-leaning policies while also saying Republicans are the lesser evil compared to Democrats. So, it's like, who are you really helping at that point? And Jim Gaffigan, you need to ask yourself, who are you really helping at this point? You might feel like you're helping yourself, protecting yourself from the wrath of Trump, but you're also kind of just saying, hey, MAGA's right. I shouldn't be so mean to them. And that's going to set a bad example. It's going to make other comedians too afraid to mock Trump and his supporters. And look, mocking them isn't the most important thing. Like, whatever. We can still have a strong resistance without late-night comedians, for sure. But I don't know, man. It just shows so much weakness. It's not a good look. And it just makes it seem like, hey, yeah, the Republicans are just going to run away with it. Like, who knows how long they can do it, till 2026 or what? But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. As always, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next video. Let's have a great 2025.